Hey, I'm Jimmy and welcome to Taking Trades, a channel dedicated to day traders where I show my trades live without charging a subscription fee or selling any courses. So today's January 9th, 2019, and believe it or not, this is my first day taking a trade. I've been in the process of moving, so I've been driving a lot, have not been paying attention to the markets, and today's my first day back. So it felt good to kind of get back in the saddle again, start taking a few trades, and I took 6 total today, and things were super choppy in the beginning, and then I kind of found a little bit of a rhythm, had a couple decent winners, and ultimately ended up with a really small sliver of a green day. So the 2 ticker symbols I traded were AMD and MU, and so I'd like to cut to those and show you those trades live, kind of walk through what I was thinking, how things played out, and then hopefully get your comments and talk a little bit about the trades, what was good, what was bad, and kind of explain a little bit of the logic behind the trades. So anyway, thanks for stopping in. I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, and let's jump into the trades.
Dive into these trades. So the first trade I'm going to show you is on MU, and you can see on the 5-minute chart MU came ripping out of the gates with 3 nice, big, strong, bullish candles. We started to get a 5-minute sort of pause, people taking profit. And I'm watching this 1-minute chart, watching things pull back here. And so my thought was to try to buy off the 9 EMA for it to go higher. So as I play this, you can see I'm kind of watching that, wanting it to touch the 9 EMA, but ultimately I'm not getting that. So as it broke the body of the previous candle, I went ahead and went in with 1,000 shares. Didn't get the best entry on that, but was immediately up about $40, $50. And in hindsight now, with the way it kind of paused, I probably should have just sold at least half and let the other 500 ride to see what would happen. But instead, it came back on me. I was watching the low of the previous candle, so my stop was going to be here. And as you can see on this, it just ultimately goes against me. And as it crosses that low of the previous candle, I put out my sell order to get out. So right there, 1,000 shares out, and there I am down $100 to start my first trading day of 2019, where I actually took a trade. So from here, then moved on, and I ended up looking at MU again. So right here, MU started to have a nice 1-minute pullback right here, back into the 9 EMA after a significant push down. You know, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles in a row. Sort of a pause and then a pullback. And in this pullback is where I was looking to get short. I'm using the 9 EMA, which is this white line, as my overhead resistance. I want to buy off of that and then see it break this low. So as things sort of progress, I've got 1,000 shares loaded up. I'm watching the 5-minute chart, just kind of seeing what's happening over here. This doesn't really look like a good bull flag. It's sort of broken, so I wasn't thinking that it was going to go higher. So in my opinion, it was a downtrending on the 1-minute, which looked like a nice short opportunity. And you can see I've kind of got my mouse on the sell button there, getting ready to hit the button. So this is a nice indicator. This always makes me feel good when I see this pin bar doji that's got a long upper wick, which is indicating some nice selling pressure, which is what I want to see so that we can push lower. So this third candle comes out. The body of it's moving higher than the previous. You can see the top wick has touched the 9 EMA. It's not breaking the 9 EMA necessarily. And then as I start to get a little more comfortable, I'm thinking, okay, I think this might be a short opportunity. And then in a moment, I put out 1,000 share order, and then I'm ready to try to get a 10, 15 cent bounce and then buy it back. So initially, this is the psychological part that can be kind of tough. You know, you can see I entered the trade. I'm already down on the name, but then I'm also was down on that trade. starts to slowly come back for me. And as I kind of speed this up a little bit, you can see that candle starting to push down a little bit, so I'm feeling a little better about it. Hoping for that 10-cent push, trying to get in that neighborhood, 10 to 15 cents. So 10 cents would be right around 35.36. So you'll see I got kind of pauses for a second, and then it's going to push down lower. And as it pushes down beyond that 10-cent point, what I do is go ahead and you can see me loading up 500 shares there. Things today just felt a little choppy, so this type of thing I'd want it to move faster typically, but it's just a little sluggish. And then you can see this is going to come down. It's going to drop. There's 35. So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take some profit. Got a terrible fill on that. And ultimately, as I continue through this, my mental stop now is break even at 35.46. So I'm kind of watching that and was just hoping for this to roll over and keep moving lower, but it was a little resistant and it wasn't necessarily going along with what I wanted to happen. So ultimately, you can see it starts to push back up and gets back up near 46, and I'm thinking, I don't know that this is going to roll over. So I just kind of keep watching it closely, and ultimately I end up putting an order to get out and end up actually taking a loss on the second 500 shares, which was super disappointing, but it just wasn't working in my favor. And I should have, in hindsight, I should have cut the trade at 35.46, but you'll see here, I'll put out my order and I actually get filled at 50, almost 51 is where I got filled at 35, yeah, at 35.51. So not the best execution on that. I should have jumped out at 46 and called it good, but I was just sort of convinced that it was going to roll over. All right, so let's move in. Let's go looking around here. So on AMD, on my next trade, we had this 1 minute time frame setting a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high. I was seeing this doji, watching it roll over, and my target was to come down, touch the previous close. This is the previous close from the last trading day, and hopefully maybe sell half there and then see it break and push down below. So as I play this, you'll see I go 1,000 shares short there, and now I'm looking for it just to roll over. And the entry felt pretty good. I already had 2 5-minute candles on the 5-minute chart, so it was a little like uneasy with it pushing up here, but ultimately sort of felt that it was heavy and going to roll over. And this tall wick on the top kept reinforcing that I should maybe hold the trade a little longer, that there was definitely selling pressure in place. So that's why I kept holding. And then this starts to roll over, and I'm just kind of waiting, trying to be patient with it. Still watching the 5-minute chart, keeping an eye here. You know, I do realize there's some distance between this candle and the 9, so I definitely don't want it to move upward. And I start to get a push to the downside, which is good. But again, you can kind of see how it was just kind of sluggish. It wasn't really forceful or moving, you know, convincingly in either direction. And you can see there's a ton of volume. So I was just really struggling. So I kind of waited it out. It was chopping around a little bit. Then it starts to push to the downside a little bit here. But then it would suck back up, hold a little, push back down, just sort of being choppy and weird. So as it comes down, you know, like I always try to do, I try to get 10 cents initially, sometimes take half there, and then let the other half ride and hopefully get another push lower. So on this, I'm starting to feel good because I'm getting my, you know, $100, but then, you know, ultimately I let it kind of drift back up, so it's a little uneasy. But you can see how that's green and then it pushes to red right away. It keeps slamming it back down. So that's telling me that there's some selling pressure there. I put in 500, put out an order as it breaks. So my target was previous close, but I actually got better than that. So really excited on that. And now I'm just watching my last 500 shares to see if I can get another push lower where I can take profit on that final 500 shares. So great execution on the first leg down. And then we keep pushing lower. And I'm just hoping for, you know, the break of this line here, this low, which it did. And now that we're below this close from the previous trading day, I'm hoping that that's now overhead resistance. So now the stock can push up into that, consolidate, and then roll over again and go. So I'm hoping for another nice leg lower. So that's why, you know, I'm feeling confident because it's getting pushed back down, slapped back down each time it tries to approach that line. So right now, it looks to me like it's overhead resistance. Go, we're getting another push lower. So now you can see another support levels coming into play. And I'm kind of watching and thinking, yeah, if we can break that, great. But ultimately, if it touches it or happens to pop past it real quick, I'll probably, you know, I think I'll probably take my profit there. I only have 500 shares on right now. So just keep watching, looking for the break of the 2068 level, which was the low price from, I believe, a day ago. I always mark out the high and low price from the previous day's trading and 2 days prior. And I set those lines up as support and resistance levels each day. And super reliable and useful. So we're go ahead, we're pushing back down. Got a little reprieve there, some people taking profit. And now in my head I'm saying, okay, if this thing starts to run past this line, I need to probably get out. And I sort of violated that. I didn't take my profit at the line. I was sort of seeing this, and I know that we're not setting a new higher high. So we had this lower high after this lower high. So I was still feeling comfortable, and it came back pretty quick. It didn't linger for a long time above the 9 and above this level. So I just kind of held it. It looked like a pullback to me. I'm watching it to go lower. But again, more chop. More chop. We had so much chop today. Looking for the push down. And there it is. Went ahead and just took it off there. But after I took that, we did get some more pushing down. So didn't bottom ticket, missed a little bit of profit on that. So that ended up putting me up on AMD 111.75 for the day. So then moving on from this trade, I went ahead and was watching AMD. AMD was establishing an uptrend, setting a high, low or higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then as we worked our way up here, we set this higher high. I was looking for a higher low to skip off the 9 and to take that trade. So I've got another 1,000 shares ready. Took 1,000 shares long right there. And I'm looking for a break up. And the tricky thing about this trade was that it did push up initially, and I sort of held. I didn't even sell half, which in hindsight again, you know, I should have. But I kind of watch it. It dips on me. I'm down a little, but I'm still watching the 9. It's breaking for a second, but then it's going to push back up. So I was sort of confident with it because we're coming back into it. And I was also watching the 5-minute chart. Here's the 9 EMA. It's not breaking down through that. So it's still looking good on the 5-minute chart in terms of moving up. Even though we did break down off the 9, I'm now looking to our next consolidation point here, which is the 20 EMA. So as we keep moving, it touches that, starts to curl a little bit. As it's dipping down here and being difficult, I'm just constantly checking it against the 5. Like, is the 5 breaking down? Or is the 5 still in play? The 5-minute chart's still in play. Push up, a little pull back down, we could go higher. So I'm kind of watching that. We start to get our break to the upside. And this is where I'm looking for the break of the 2120, which is a high from a day before. And we start to get that push. I can tell that it's being overhead resistance. It's being difficult. It's bumping against it and not pushing above. So I'm definitely aware that it's being sort of rejected off that. And you can see I've got my finger on the trigger here, really watching to sell if I need to jump out quickly. But I keep watching it, keep watching it. And it keeps being sluggish again, the theme of the day, kind of just like not really decisive. And then finally breaks above, which felt good that it was sort of establishing 2120 maybe now as a level of support. So I keep watching that. We're pushing up 140 bucks. Things feel pretty good right now. So it comes back down, taps 2120, and then goes green, which is a great indication. Sort of comes back and does it again. And I'm just kind of watching this thing. Busts up here, and I'll pause here. So up in here, I got that break. Typically, I would just sell half. I would say, okay, there's half. I was in at 18. That was at 27. So really close to my 10-cent profit target to start off. So I'm watching this. And it's pulling back down. And I'm starting to realize I think I just lost my initial push to sell into that strength. So now I'm just kind of watching it pull back. It's still not violating the 9 EMA, so I'm okay. And it's not violating the 20. And so now it's pushing back, which tells me there's still some strength. You know, I got an indecision candle here, a little doji. Starts to pull back. And now I'm thinking, oh, you know, like, what do I do now? I didn't take my profit. And this is, I hate being in this position. And maybe many of you have been in the same position as me, but the not taking any profit at the top and then having it pull all the way back and completely erase all potential profit that you had is such a hard thing to be patient and sit through. And so I watch it sort of consolidate here, you know, and then obviously I'm saying, okay, Is there any indication that this is not an uptrend anymore? And no, there's no indication. I got a high here, a low, a higher high, a higher low. So it's reasonable to think that we're going to get another higher high. So I keep hanging out and waiting to see what we're going to do. Stop keeps chopping around. It pushes down. I notice it's touching the 9 on the 5, so I'm okay with a 5-minute chart. Still okay there. It rebounds pretty quickly, has a bullish engulfing candle, covers up this bear candle, runs back to the upside, and then from here, I'm now thinking, okay, I got to take some profit. So I took 500 shares off right there. And then as I keep waiting to see what's going to happen, I'm wanting to see a break of this high, but it was kind of chopping around and acting kind of weak. So my plan at this point was to get in the neighborhood of profit and take it. I have 500 shares remaining. And it kept just stalling. It would go to 21.27 and it wouldn't give me my full 10 cents. It just kept sort of hanging on there. Just keeps slamming right up against 21.27, and then pulling back a little bit, not wanting to give me the full 10 cents. So a little anxious in this position as it plays out here. Comes back up. Keeps tapping the 21.27 line. And then ultimately, I will jump out, but not after this epic struggle. There you go. So you can see my order right there. Right at 21.27, it pushes up. I get 21.28 on 21.29. I put out my order, and I'm out $182 profit so far. So a little longer trade, but ultimately worked out pretty well there. And moving on, the next trade I want to show you. So this last trade I'm going to show you is actually, I was watching AMD and it was trending up on the 1-minute chart, heading up, higher highs, higher lows, everything looked great. And then all of a sudden, it just starts to spill like crazy. So I'm searching for news. I'm trying to figure out why AMD is doing this, and I have no idea. So as it pulls way down, I think, okay, I'll wait for a small pullback and try to jump in. Maybe we're going to the bottom. So it pulled back a little. Then you got this monster candle, and I didn't know what to do with that. So I just kind of kept watching. And then as we got some sort of doji candles forming, it started to kind of roll over into these support levels. I was hoping I could get some resistance out of this line and this line. And what I did was went 500 shares short as it pulled back up here into these lines, and was just looking for some quick profit to see what I could get. And I got kind of a quick push down, and then it sat on the 2060 and paused, and I didn't want to risk it, so I jumped out. So 212.35 on that one. So sort of a choppy day, weird overall action. That was the last trade I took, and ultimately just ended up green, but only up $10.82 today. So kind of a strange day. Strange welcome back to the market, but I'm moved. I'm going to be now back regular, so expect videos from me every day. I'm super excited to have you guys on board checking these out. Hit that subscribe button, hit your notification bell so that you know when I upload new videos. And then at some point I want to get live where we can start taking some chat at some point and talking about strategy and what went well and what didn't, stuff like that. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Appreciate your patience with everything. I'm super excited to get this channel rolling and just start building momentum into 2019. So hope you guys had a great green day today. Hope you avoided the chop, and we'll be back at it in the morning. And yeah, we'll see you then. Thanks for stopping by.